no way that you can cut for him.
And if you're interested in getting the vaccine,
you can tell
you've been dragging your
the nigga don't believe it. He just want to get the money.
If you get your shot,
to go get
from
the vaccine.
donuts to money, new incentives have been rolling out to encourage people
fresh for the boosted badge, but we trying to.
And while some are motivated, some say this is adding more pressure on people who are on the fence. Teresa Bowles, lucky enough to be out and about in the beautiful downtown Greenville. Beautiful weather, Teresa. So I see people behind you with no mask on. So I see people enjoying this new guidance.
He don't even know what he's saying. What you just said was, I'm gonna give you 10% stock in a boozy badge.
Allow me to reintroduce myself by name. Tabby Troll, baby T. Roll with me, show the world, hit the road, baby. Huh? Count team, baby. Hit me up, IG, follow me, baby. Huh? Ain't on the pill, but I'm rolling. Rolling on the weed. Ain't on the pill, but I'm rolling. Rolling on the weed. Ain't on the pill, but I'm rolling. Rolling on the weed. Ain't on the pill, but I'm rolling. Rolling on the weed.
Yeah, I went and got vaccinated. I had to, man.
$5 coupon to shoppers who get their
Trying to run these numbers up for booster badge, but I had to get vaccinated.
She
got me feeling better too.
To take the vaccine. Most recently,
I went and got
Anderson County Schools
vaccinated.
District 5 announced they're giving $500 to
This
staff
morning,
who
the
get the
hundreds of
vaccine.
thousands of COVID breakthrough
Kroger
cases
is
that have
offering
America
$100
on edge
to their
have
employees
now
for the full
burst into the
dose.
halls
To
of
take it even
Congress.
further, Ohio
3
is
vaccinated
giving
U.S.
5
senators,
people
Roger
$1
Wicker
million
of Mississippi,
in a
John
lottery-style
Hickenlooper
giveaway.
of Colorado,
I read through a
and
study
Angus
with the
King of
Kaiser
Maine,
Family
revealing they've
Foundation. Their
all
poll
tested
explains that
positive.
47% of
King,
people
noting
who
in
are
a
taking their
statement,
time
while
about
I'm not
getting their
feeling
shot
great,
say
I'm
paying
definitely
time
feeling
off
much
would make
better
them
than
more
I
likely
would
to
have
follow
without the
through, and
vaccine.
39% say a
Hospitals
financial incentive
nationwide
of at
reeling
least
from new COVID cases,
would
with
motivate
9
them.
out of 10 of those
At the beginning of
patients
this week, DHEC
unvaccinated.
says at the meeting, they're working on collaborating with the Department of Education to work with schools to hold clinics and choose vaccine ambassadors to get their vaccines to students. Ansel Gaffney says she's going to take advantage of these incentives, while Sarah Maddox believes the incentive is more of a bribe.
I've got COVID. I've got to go home now and quarantine for 14 days. D.L. Hewley left, went home with no medication. There was no cure at the time. There was no vaccine at the time, right? And was magically healed somehow just by being alone for 14 days. Not only D.L. Hewley, Idris Elba, not only him, Tom Hanks, not only him, Don Lemon. Y'all want to talk about the puppets, the ones that's pushing the agenda? Well, we're going to get into it. How is it that you were able to magically cure on your own, no medication, no vaccine, just from being home alone for 14 days, but now it's a mandatory vaccination that they want to stick on communities of color? No, we have questions. And
Thank you. Yeah. This is my Mexican security guard. You're gonna miss it when Trump takes him away. We've been in quarantine so long. Remember when we came back? Remember everyone wanted to get rid of Mexicans. They call it. They were immigrants.
I got you.
And I just think when I experienced that, I was like, you know what, I'm never going to allow anybody to silence me. And when it comes to fighting for what we know is right? When it comes to fighting for what we know is right, what do we know is right? Well, we know that the jab shouldn't be forced, right, on people. We know that that's right? We also know that shouldn't nobody be in this world be looking at a child and then think that they need to swap out sex parts, right? We know that's right. Like when they start talking about transitioning to transgender children, how can you be transgender without transitioning?
Because the problem that we having right now is imposters. Fucking imposters. We think that you rocking like this. You stood for something that's right. That Dwayne Wade situation. You even kind of bent a little bit when you were Mike Tyson, but you still stood in a way. You telling me that a nigga that has that type of stance You believe in this motherfucking hit? You believe in this thing? All of these other theories that you got, but you are good with the fucking hit? No, you're not cool with it. You're doing that strictly for the money. You are panicking.
Okay, YouTube, Tabby trolling, man. I had to hop back in here real quick before I go on to the next clip. So, just to piggyback off everything that's going on, like Ayo Consaco said, shout out Ayo Consaco, Big Facts Podcast. Shout out to Angela Stanton King and Kwame Brown, right? Shout out both of them. They are doing the work that we're supposed to be doing. We need to protect these people, man. But I digress. I keep trying to tell y'all, when it comes to this jab, man, we can't afford to take it and trust what Big Pharma is telling us. And I'm gonna keep every single day if I have to. Every day I'll make a video. Every day if I have to, I will make a video highlighting credible sources and reasons that we should not be participating in this experiment, because that's all it is. Right? I had to jump in and say that real quick. Now let's continue on with the video, man.
For some in America, it has been difficult to understand why many Black people don't trust the COVID-19 vaccine.
The healthcare system that is untrustworthy and has been for African Americans since the inception of this country, that's something that most of us, including myself, were taught as young children. Just because there's a vaccine, there's a pandemic, and you want everyone to take it, you can't flip a switch on that quickly.
That distrust is rooted in a history of racist healthcare practices that are often epitomized by one example, the Tuskegee syphilis study.
They were not told that they had syphilis, and then when penicillin came out, they were not allowed to get the penicillin for treatment or cure.
With the COVID vaccine now here, many are wondering if it is safe to get vaccinated.
A recent survey shows Black Americans are less likely to trust it than others. To explain why, we're joined by research professor Dr. Kinsey Cameron and political science researcher James Druckman from Northwestern University. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's first start off by saying why African Americans are leery of a vaccine.
Well, I can start and mention that there is certainly a history of mistrust in the African American and Black and Brown communities, and it's not just one event. You know, people often mention Tuskegee, but it's not just Tuskegee, it's Henrietta Lacks. There are reasons for this distrust, and so what we need to do is understand what it is so that we can start to address the actual distrust.
You can talk about Henrietta Lacks, let folks know she went to Johns Hopkins from vaginal bleeding, and it just became a big mess. She ended up dying soon after that.
Yes, indeed, and her cells were used for years and still are being today.
Yeah, I went and got vaccinated. I had to, man. Trying to run these numbers up for booster bags, bro. I had to get vaccinated. Shit got me feeling better, too. I went and got vaccinated.
Am I a Patreoner? Or take accountability for all the non-hit deaths. What you, people like you, so you just are totally blind to the fact that motherfuckers that get the hit are still catching COVID. Damn. Are still dying from it. Did that people that got the hit are still scared to go out? That just totally missed you, huh? The point of the whole matter is it's not safe, it's suspect, it doesn't do what they said it would do. If I get hit for a fucking certain pathogen, why in the fuck why do I gotta walk on eggshells?
That's crazy, right? That's crazy. And it doesn't just stop there. Oh, no. Now, I don't know if y'all ever heard, but there are people out there, states, cities, counties, they're actually out here offering incentives to get vaccinated. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Wouldn't y'all be kind of leery? Like, okay, I understand you want us to pay you to get jabbed, but you telling me you'll pay me to get the jab? And y'all find anything wrong with that? I work at Walmart. Y'all offering $150 to get the jab. I'm not doing it. Sorry, I'm not doing it. But it's crazy to think about it. And I thought I was the only one that really hip to this, but once again, I got more receipts.
And if you're interested in getting the vaccine, but you've been dragging your feet, many companies offering some free stuff if you get your shot. From donuts to money, new incentives have been rolling out to encourage people to get vaccinated.
And while some are motivated, some say this is adding more pressure on people who are on the fence. Teresa Bowles, lucky enough to be out and about in the beautiful downtown Greenville. Beautiful weather, Teresa. So see people behind you with no mask on. So I see people enjoying this new guidance.
Yes, Cody, I definitely haven't seen anyone walking outside with a mask on yet, but along with the CDC easing some of those mask enforcement guidelines to those who get vaccinated, they also are it seems to be some rising support from health officials in general, but some people feel though the handouts may come with the price. Let me tell you about some of those incentives they were talking about. Krispy Kreme is giving away a free Lay's donut to customers who show their vaccination card starting next weekend. Budweiser is offering free beer until May 16th, and Target is giving away a $5 coupon to shoppers who get their shots in the store's CVS pharmacy. And there are also places offering their employees money to take the vaccine. Most recently, Anderson County Schools District 5 announced they're giving $500 to staff who get the vaccine. Another example, Kroger is offering $100 to their employees for the full dose. To take it even further, Ohio is giving 5 people $1 million in a lottery-style giveaway. I read through a study with the Kaiser Family Foundation. Their poll explains that 47% of people who are taking their time about getting their shot say paid time off would make them more likely to follow through, and 39% say a financial incentive of at least $200 would motivate them. At the beginning of this week, DHEC says, at their meeting, they're working on collaborating with the Department of Education to work with schools to hold clinics and choose vaccine ambassadors to get more vaccines to students. Ansley Gaffney says she's going to take advantage of these incentives, while Sarah Maddox believes the incentive is more of a bribe.
In West Virginia, those who get vaccinated could win some major prizes, like a chance to win a college scholarship or a new pickup truck. It's part of a new push from the state to get more shots in arms. Right now, 41% of residents there are fully vaccinated, and 51% have had at least one dose. NBC News reporter Gary Grumbach joins us now from Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. So, Gary, what are you learning about this new incentive plan to help get more people vaccinated? We mentioned some of the prizes. What else can folks win?
Yeah, good morning, Joe. You know, you've heard of those more typical incentives, things like college scholarships or $1 million. That's happening here in West Virginia, too, starting on June 20th. But there's also some things that officials tell me they hope it to be a wild and wonderful twist to the vaccine incentive program here in West Virginia. Of course, hunting and fishing is big business. It's a big hobby here in the state. And so officials are taking advantage of that. They're giving away lifetime memberships, lifetime licenses to the fishing and hunting clubs. They're also doing things like giving away a Ford F-150 trucks, as you mentioned, every week for 5 weeks starting at the end of June. And they're also doing something that's a little more controversial. They're giving away 5 shotguns and 5 hunting rifles as well, just for the fully vaccinated or even partially vaccinated. All they need to do is just get at least one shot. Now, organizations like Moms Demand in Everytown, they tell me they're not sure why there's a little bit of a back and forth between a deadly weapon being given for a life-saving vaccine. But that is whatever the officials say, that they think they know their audience, and that's what people want. We're here in Berkeley Springs State Park. This is one of the incentives as well. You could get a weekend getaway to one of the 30 state parks across West Virginia as well. So officials are just hoping people get their vaccine for whatever the reason may be.
Now, Gary, West Virginia was one